All righty, look at that. We are live and we are dancing on the Side Quest, your weekly journey into the world of video games, gaming culture, geeks, and people who like to do karaoke. Dudes, we should do PAX karaoke. That would be kind of badass, actually. That would be pretty fun.
Sure.
I am one of your, what's that, huh? Huh?
I said sure.
Okay. I'm one of your, I've never done, uh, I've never what the heck? I've never done karaoke in my life.
What?
I did it once. I take it back. I did it once. 2001, I think is when I did it. So it's been a while.
Great year.
Yeah, great year. Yeah, nothing happened
I
that
can think
year.
of one thing that happened.
Yeah, yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
That's the one
Yep.
thing. He's saying Ricky Martin, and it was
Slayers,
good.
Angel of Death released.
Yeah.
Same day.
That's
Big
true.
year. Explosive year. Yep.
Anywho, I am Dolly Demosky. I'm joined by one Johnny Wack. Johnny, hello.
That's me.
That's you. And this lovely person up here, Zach Quest. There you go.
That's me.
Look how long my finger is. It's
Huh.
as big as my head. Anyways, gentlemen, hello, friends. Hope you are
Yo.
doing well. I know I'm doing well, and I'm excited to hang out with the both of you. I haven't seen either of you in a couple weeks online. Johnny, I haven't seen you since March,
That's right.
and missed you that whole time. Although we all chat in the Discord, where you should all go ASAP. Make your way over to sidequesting.com, hop into the Discord there, and join us. And also, while you're at it, rate and review us, comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, please. If you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe. I know it sounds so stupid because I don't like and subscribe, but it really does help get people to see us and do the same. And you can get cool, like Zach's really cool backgrounds. Like somebody just liked us, and Zach was able to get a background. And so every
Thank you.
time, every time
I'm on the
an
Stardew
angel
Valley
gets
farm
his
now.
wings,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You do have some farming stuff that you're going to be talking about later on, which is cool.
Mhm.
And yeah, so do all that fun stuff, please. It really does help. And the same thing on Twitch and all the good things. But I'm glad to have you two on the show with me. It's been ages. You guys have been playing a ton of games, and we're getting that in a second. I did want to get into a little bit of news first, because news, right? News is always cool.
It's
News,
always
it's always good news.
Never
You guys
seen bad news.
never seen bad news. You actually missed the bad news last week with the Xbox stuff. I don't know
Oh
if we want to.
darn.
I don't know if we want to get into that. No, we don't. But yeah, it's been kind of a rough few weeks in the gaming world. But there is some stuff we can kind of talk about. Obviously, we know that. Here, I'm going to share this. We know that one of our favorite game series is Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy typically does really well, except right now it's not. And in fact, it's one of the reasons that it's bringing down Square Enix, in that now the company had some really bad financials, and they've announced they're going to the profits drop 70%. Thank you, games industry. Aggressive multi-platform strategy. I bring this up again. I'm not much of a business dude. I understand business enough, but I'm bringing this up because we in SideQuesting, friends have, especially Taylor, have talked about getting away from these, you know, single platform games that Square Enix and Sony have been doing. Right, Sony has been pushing the Final Fantasy games strictly onto PlayStation platforms, and hey, it worked great for Remake, which is a huge game. Not so well for Rebirth, which apparently vastly underperformed. Same with Final Fantasy 16. They had a great start, then ended up underperforming. They're waiting for the whole 18-month thing to really understand where these fall. But being stuck on one platform, even though Sony is kind of covering some of that cost, does kind of suck. I mean, Johnny, you haven't been able to play Remake, or sorry, any of the other later ones. Like maybe you played Remake, but
I did play Remake.
okay.
I played it up to a point. but it didn't grab me like
Like the
others.
Ghoulies. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't grab me like the Ghoulies normally do.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about this story in particular is that it says profits drop 70%, which still means they're making a profit. So I mean, I don't know.
It's well, I want to turn to Zach, because Zach, you're the person that I know knows more about Square Enix culture than anybody else, and kind of their whole kind of gaming developmental conceptual background with their creator-led studios.
Here's my take, right? So it's clearly bad because they're only on one console and sometimes on other ones. But I think what's really hurting them mostly is not being able to put their games on the Switch. I think them not having any Switch ports or anything like that is hurting them, because they're big markets. Japan's main console is the Switch. So that is hurting them a lot. But also not being on PC even like a couple months after is really like bad. Because I think why Remake did so well is because it was on PC and it sold really well on PC, and also it was one of the first games on the PS5, and also it was a free upgrade from the PS4 to the 5. So there's a lot of things like,
and it was on
that.
the PS4. Like that's when the PS4 was really rocking. Yeah,
right.
So it's like it's hurting them a lot, and I think, I don't know, they've been coasting pretty hard on the success of Final Fantasy 14 for the last decade. That game's legitimately like carried that company for 10 years now. And now that their profits for that are kind of sinking, they're like their sub numbers are lower than they have been. That's not helping. Them not being multi-platform is not helping. Dragon Quest not coming out is also not helping. That game has been in hiatus for like 6 years now, maybe 5 years. I don't know, but we haven't seen anything about that game in a while, and I think that's also another thing. So I don't know, but Final Fantasy 16 is also a pretty big one as well. Like, I loved it. A lot of people loved it, but it wasn't a heavy like hitter that they wanted it to be. Like, it sold like 3.5 million copies, whatever, but they expected it to be like a remake situation, selling like 7 million, 8 million. And they really banked hard on the success of 14 and that team making 16 to be this big, like, explosive thing. I think the PC release should be successful, but yeah, it's just a lot of things, I think, over the last couple of years and decade has just kind of hit. And now with how all industries are experiencing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hitting Square Enix hard, because they've been cashing in on the Final Fantasy 14 online for forever. So I feel like that's kind of their grave that they dug.
It's interesting also, they mentioned that they're going to be kind of rescaling their studios in a couple ways. One, they're chopping a lot of these smaller games. They're going to be kind of focusing on more tentpole titles, I guess is what they were sort of saying. And two, they're getting away from big creator-led projects and making it more of team efforts, like which is an interesting thing to think about, because you have the Final Fantasy 14 team, who, by the way, gave us an awesome shout out, have been kind of crucial and pivotal to the development of just Final Fantasy in general. And it's sort of been the same team that's been kind of guiding a lot of these same efforts. And to say that they're kind of getting away from a few of those is an interesting thing. But what does it mean they said Dragon Quest 12 is still in development, because obviously it's a massive game, but now you start to think, what about Dragon Quest 3 2D HD? What about games like Bravely Default, or some of those other style, triangle strategy? We don't know what's going to happen to some of these games. I mean,
those ain't happening. Those ain't happening anymore.
They ain't happening. Are we going to see more remakes? We're going to see that Final Fantasy 9 remake because people are just kind of banking on it. Yeah, we will. Yeah. It's interesting.
I want Final Fantasy VIII remake. Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, here's the guy that this news benefits maybe the most, Taylor Bliss. Hey, Taylor.
They finally got my letters.
They finally got all your letters. But yeah, we were just saying how, Zach had some, great points about just the development process and their focus. And you actually mentioned earlier, Zach, they're going to have to start putting games on the Switch, right? Game Pass aside, because we know there's issues going there, but the Switch is the
Switch 2 needs to be a focus for them, or they're gonna.
You got to think. You got to think that they're hurting.
Yeah,
you got to think that they're hurting. Looking at like what the average game does on a Switch launch, and then they're like, here's PS5 exclusivity. And like, it's hurting. It's crazy that it lasted this long. It feels like a relic of. It was starting to fishtail off even at the end of the PS3, Xbox 360 era, and it just like got really, really bad in the middle of PS4 and Xbox One, and now it's just like it's awful. Like console exclusivity doesn't really, for third parties at least, doesn't really do what it used to.
Right,
and it's just like I can't. When there's a behemoth in the room, and you're like, yeah, we don't make games that go on there. You're like, okay,
yeah.
when you literally can't port Final Fantasy 16, your biggest budget of the game of the last 5 years, onto that console, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah,
say that I'm not going to do that anymore, I guess. But...
Yeah, no, the devs' excuse, at least for the PC stuff, for 16 is like, we're trying to get the SSD timings down right for the PC.
Yeah, sure, buddy. That's
like, okay,
sure.
That's what Yoshi P has said multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're trying to get it on par for the PS5. It's like, I don't believe that for a second.
Right.
So, also, like, it doesn't, like, I'm sorry, SSD timings don't fucking matter. Like, like one weirdo is gonna make. Actually, several weirdos are gonna make like
several weirdos.
This is how long it takes to load on PC, and it's 4.7 milliseconds. Well, it's actually probably like 4 seconds longer on PC, but like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there was that video of what was it, Ratchet and Clank on PC showing like the hard drive load times, SSD load times, and like it's pretty noticeable. And I think for 16 at least, how their boss fights are designed, like seamlessly loading into
you lose impact. You lose impact.
You would lose a ton.
Yeah.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Johnson.
Sorry, I had some technical issues here.
No worries. You technical issues with StreamYard? Never. But yeah, we're gonna. I guess it's gonna be a real interesting time. They're not expecting any. They called it midterm growth, but it's really like a 2 to 3 year plan. I think 2027 is when they're really thinking they're gonna start getting back. Part of that is because games just take forever to be made right now. And so it's going to be a real interesting time for Square Enix over the next couple 3 years here to see what
what they have coming out. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, the next
Dragon Quest 12,
the next Final Fantasy 7 remake, Rebirth, Revenge, whatever they're going to call it.
Tomb Raider TV show.
Yeah, the Tomb Raider TV show, which is no longer theirs.
Oh yeah.
My tinfoil hat theory for Dragon Quest 12 is because they also said the next Dragon Quest was going to be more edgy and more mature, is what they said. I think they saw some of the backlash from 16 and started to rethink the direction they took 12. I that's my tinfoil hat theory because they fired the guy who was making that game.
They may be really walking it back to family friendly again. Yeah,
no, it is funny to think about what would an edgy Dragon Quest be like? Huh?
Slime sick fuck.
As long as they keep the politics out of it, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Don't bring politics and
it has no
brown
place
people
in,
into
it has no place in the Dragon Quest series.
Dragon Quest has gone woke.
Oh, typical.
I'm writing it down as the title.
Might get some people to retweet it. I'm sure we're looking for their business.
We'll have what is it? Matt Pat has like the tenets of a good YouTube thumbnail is to like point. Or whatever. Let's move on to some happier news. Hey, you guys remember Jim Ryan?
I hate that.
Do
guy.
I ever?
Guess what? He's gone. we got gamers in charge now. For real.
That sounds like the worst thing.
Yes, that's not good. That's not a good headline.
Wait a minute. PlayStation.
That's like when they're like, man, remember Donald Trump? We got a normal guy as president now.
We got someone who knows business. No, Herman Hulst and Hideaki Nishimo, the new co-CEOs of Sony Interactive Entertainment, PlayStation, so they gave a good old kick to Jim Ryan, who is always pictured the day before a studio is murdered, smiling with them. God, I still remember that picture. But they've now taken over. I guess Zach, you said this was great news. I don't know if you were being sarcastic or not. I know Nishino is actually into like first-person game or one-player games, single-player games.
I just don't like the other guy. I just think he's
Herman Hulst.
No. The Jim Ryan.
Oh, Jim Ryan. Yeah.
Nobody. I think like once he took over, PlayStation really just kind of like dived into what it is now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
and also we'll see. I mean,
he was their Don Maddock. Is kind of what
Herman Hulst at least like came from an actual studio and development background. As the co-founder for Guerrilla, so there's hope that he didn't like become completely lost when he left Guerrilla to become like vice VP in Sony Interactive in 2019.
Here's my theory of why he's the best. He's in Death Stranding, and Jim Ryan isn't. So there we go.
I mean, like
simple logic, fellas.
Do the math and make sense.
Do we know anything about Hideaki Nishino? I do not know his name. Zach, learn me. No.
Well, let's scroll down.
Let's
see here. He's going to lead the platform business group. So they kind of split up their roles. That way they're not like fighting for power, which they should. He was already the SVP of platform experiences. So he's been part of Sony.
I know exactly what that means. So that's good.
Basically the hardware platform side, and Hulst has been the kind of software guru side. So there's definitely sort of that both halves of the equation there. So, but yeah, it sounds like he's going to be, leading the platform business group. So hardware, tech, accessories. Yeah.
You think he's going to get inside Herman's head?
Oh,
honestly, goodness. Probably good if he does.
Goodness. Let's see, real quick. More PlayStation news. PS5 hits 59 million.
Hilarious headline to come out this past 2 days after all the other drama.
Yeah. Helldivers 2 breaks the launch record, sales record with all the Helldivers issues, right? Pretty crazy, but it's
especially for a woke game.
For a woke game, everything is woke. But no, they're Sony's still making money, but not as much money. They actually downgraded their sales expectations. I think they were expecting 25 million units, and they actually shipped close to 21 million PS5s. Here's the number right there. Yeah. So that slowdown is hitting them. 4 million is a lot. 4 million. If you're off by 4 million, you're in any amount is a big chunk. So I think it's gonna be a PS5 Pro for sure. I think we're all kind of leaning towards PS5 Pro being a thing, right? That sounds.
Man, I can't wait to not buy one.
Yeah, I can't wait to not get it.
I still don't have PS5, so
there you go. You can get that one. No, you can get one of the 18 other versions of the PlayStation that they have already.
I got hit with one of the they send it with a vertical stand, but they don't tell you like, hey, you shouldn't stand it up, even though it's in all of the stuff. So now I can play I never finished Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, because it'll get like I can play it for an hour, then it gets too hot and it just shuts off.
Oh no!
Because it gets too hot and then the thermal paste just drips down.
Oh jeez!
And then it just like shuts off completely. It gives you like a spinning thing, shuts off, and then in order to get it turned back on again, I have to go unplug it and then plug it back in.
No.
Yeah, it's those Gen 1 PS5s. It's crazy.
Yeah. Mine shuts off all the time and has to reboot the stupid hard drive because it's, you had an error in leaving your PS5 on too long.
Which is crazy because I don't use it that much because it's just an exclusive machine.
Right, exactly. It's literally an exclusive machine.
Mine works perfectly fine for the last year I've had it.
Mine works perfectly fine.
Mine works perfectly fine.
This is my curse for going through the entire Xbox 360 generation on one 360.
Yeah, there's no way that's not possible.
You'll get you got
I'm
yours.
on 7 of them. I think that's basically it for the news. I don't know if there's much else that we wanted to cover. I want to cover games because we've been ready.
I have a question that's news related and games related. Is it too late to get it on that Helldivers 2? Is it too late to start playing that now?
No, you and I can start. Let's do it. Let's do it.
No, it's good.
No,
I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
It's still good.
Yeah.
It's really good. A lot of friendly people playing, It's
cool.
It's good.
Goofy as hell.
The problem it is unfortunately the mind I was about to call it a mind virus and just like sound completely standard about it.
Everything's going woke.
But for real, to use one of the bad phrases to describe the thing that is the whole idea of like I'm gonna statistically min max my PvE game is like just it's set in fully. So like especially if you read Reddit too much, which many people do, unfortunately, it's just like everybody's just like this weapon, and like I have to use it's like are you using this loadout? I was like I had to kick people from my party because they used this weapon. You're like, dog, we're playing video games, man. And like that's the only downside to like it was so good for so long. I mean, the game came out like 3 weeks ago, but it's just so sad that like there is no game that is safe from this anymore at this point. And it's just like makes me miss the before times.
So I had a really fun experience with the game. I was playing with the Japanese guy, and we were able to run missions for like 3 or 4 hours straight, just me and him.
Oh, dope.
And we were like, and the pinging system is so good that the language barrier didn't really like exist, which I thought was like super cool. It was like a really cool gaming moment that I'll think about. It was like me and this random Japanese dude playing through that game.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Well, let's get into some of the games that we've been playing. Speaking of games that we're playing, and we have a lot of review games to talk about. We've had a lot of codes come in. Zach and Johnny have been rocking it with the reviews. Let me rephrase that. JJ has the most time out of any human being on the planet, apparently, because whenever review codes come in, we just kind of shuffle them off to him. And I think he reviews like 5 games a week, and he plows through every single one and puts his heart and soul into each one. But I figured let's get some games out to other folks who might start having some free time, and Zach and Johnny have graciously donated some of their many hours to us. And so I want to start with some of the games that both of you have been playing. Who wants to go first? Whoever raises their hand first goes first.
I'll go first.
Oh, Zach win. All right, Zach wins. Okay, Zach. Zach, you've been playing some games. What game would you like to start with first?
Let's start with the bad one.
I'm about to share it because I already know which one it is. Zach, tell us about Heading Out.
Heading Out, yeah, okay. So this I think this game's like concept is actually pretty cool. It's like you're this like daredevil kind of like race car driver guy, kind of like Driver, I guess, from the Drive movie. Mm-hmm. And basically like it's a narrative kind of based roguelike driving game, which on paper sounds really cool. But so the game starts and they ask you like some regrets or what you're thinking of and all these things, and then it goes into like it has this narration. It's like you're the driver and like blah blah blah, and it's like it gets really cringe really fast. But I think besides the cringe part, the gameplay is essentially pretty cool. It's like you have these driving segments between cities, so you have like the whole map of the US kind of like at your disposal. So you get these like quests, and it's like, oh, you can make this amount of money, or you can get gas, all these things. And as you drive from place to place, there's like a narrative kind of unraveling about you running away from your fear, whatever it is, and also what's going on in the United States. There's like a civil war happening. Companies are like pulling gasoline out from like tanks and just kind of keeping it, and like truck drivers can't drive their loads, and all these like really political things, and like camps full of
the politics
Mexican
again,
immigrants, and all these things, really political Civil War like stuff going on. And that is cool. But then you have like people on the radio who are talking and like doing like Reddit memes basically, which is just so like bad. It's like, oh, I just found this cookie that I've been looking for a week. Oh my god, it's so good. And it's like you're driving around, it's all serious and like the world sucks, and like the person's like, oh my god, hey Mr. Fluffy, get away, that's my cookie, oh my god. And it's like, why is this here, right?
Why are you on the radio?
Yeah, so that happens while you're kind of doing this like serious thing in between, kind of learning about these riots and all this political stuff going on in between resource management of your gas and all this stuff, right? But the other thing that's kind of the final nail in the coffin for me is every time you do a driving segment, it's timed to a song. So it's like you have 3 minutes and 30 seconds until this song is over to win this race or to get through this city. And the music just sucks so bad. It sounds like It sounds like Creed or like Nickelback.
Okay,
like
back on board.
Like it's like dad rock, like stomp and clap music, It's like, and it's just like it sucks. It's like I don't want this in this type of game, right? So yeah, it didn't do a lot for me. I think it's essentially cool. It'd be nice to check out.
Essentially cool.
Yeah. Essentially it's cool.
How's the actual, like, how's the driving? Because I played this at PAX back a few months ago, and now this is the final release, and I'm just kind of curious what you thought of the actual driving versus the map aspect.
So the driving is like, I'm not really like a driving game like player, so I don't really like know, but I know the difference between like Forza and like Mario Kart, right? And this like, it doesn't feel good to drive really. It's kind of, it doesn't feel realistic enough, but also doesn't feel like arcadey enough. It has like really weird response to it, at least in my opinion. And I think that is because the character will like shift up and down a gear, and it like actually like stops your car and you have to like go, but you have no control over shifting gear up or down. It's just the character doing it. And it just feels kind of odd. But it's basically kind of balanced around you always going as fast as possible. So that could be why. I don't know. I just didn't really vibe with it. And then whenever you're on the map, you are like, the camera zooms out and just have like the icon of your truck of your car, and you kind of just like drive to places and encounter things along the road. There's like quests or like story moments or like gas or whatever. But as you're driving, you have to hold down R2 to accelerate the car, and you're also being tracked by the cops, so you have to like stay under the speed limit or like go faster if they're not in your vicinity. So you're driving, but it's also you're just driving on the map. You're not really doing much. Yeah, it's interesting. I think me saying it's bad is like rude, but I just didn't like it. So that's just kind of opinion on it. I think if someone like JJ would have played it, he would have liked it a lot. I think it's more of a JJ game. Just
it's basically all driving, right?
Yeah, it's driving and visual novel
and some visual novel
stuff. Yeah.
So the question, how's the driving make you feel? Like, is it good, or is it just like kind of wobbly? It looks kind of wobbly to me.
It feels like you don't have enough control.
Okay.
That's how it feels. And the game
you mentioned like he'll speed up or slow down or shift up and down without you even.
So it has a restart mechanic built in. So I mean, the game's built around you doing runs, right? You're essentially like you are gonna die a lot, or you're gonna have all these things happening to you and like restart. So you have a reset. You have like 5 resets per run. So if you're driving and you hit a tree, you're like, okay, well, got to reset.
Let's just re-go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think the roguelike stuff is kind of pushed in there a bit. So yeah, it feels a little unnecessary. It could have just been like a resource management driving visual novel game, but I don't think the idea of having runs like is kind of a smart thing for this type of game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess when I look at this, I look at a game and I'm like, man, I want this to like feel really good to drive in a straight line. Yeah. If that's missing, then I'm kind of
right. Yeah. See, like my favorite feeling driving in any video game is Grand Theft Auto 4. I think GTA 4 is like the perfect.
GTA 4 is just kind of up there.
I love the way that game feels, and it's just like, this doesn't feel like GTA 4, so
Yeah.
Point made.
I think like the visual novel aspect is kind of interesting, and the whole kind of graphic novel aesthetic, the black and white aesthetic, but
it's not enough to
driving game. Okay, good. That's what I was. I think that's what I was kind of getting at was aesthetics can be one thing. If it's a game about driving, the driving better be interesting. And from what you're saying, it sounds like you just kind of get pedal to the metal and not waste your gas and outrun the cops, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. I think the political intrigue and all the things happening is really interesting. I think that's really, really, really cool. But it's not enough to make me want to play the actual game part. It's like I don't want to deal with this to see the rest of that.
I feel like roguelikes have to have parts in it that make the game more interesting as you play it. And also they have to make you feel like you're learning how to play the game as you go along with it.
Yeah.
So, with a driving game, if it feels like, you're just driving, I don't know. It doesn't.
Sure.
The roguelike element just doesn't seem like it meshes with the actual gameplay.
Yeah, no, because like you'll be driving and it'll tell you like, hey, there's a turn here. Like it tells you exactly what you need to know. Like, hey, there's a secret here. Hey, there's this thing over here. So there's no reason to try and do anything different. You're already just kind of like, that's what makes roguelikes fun is like, I want to experiment and see if I can try something new with this build I just had.
Sure.
This is just like, you got a car, you're going.
Well, depending whatever game you're playing, there are some games that you can actually play on the other parts of your screen. And you've been playing a game that does that.
I forgot I gotta wish list this real quick. I keep forgetting.
This game is really good. Rusty's Retirement. This is like, I don't know, man. It's the perfect game for me because I really love games. I love games that have like really serious like grinding kind of like curves. It's like, okay, like I got to grind a lot to get what I want. But I also really like games that also kind of play themselves while I'm not playing them. I like AFK kind of like mechanics, right? And this is like kind of the perfect combination of that crazy grinding curve of like a farming sim or an MMO or like all those things and this idle game. So essentially it's like you're a little robot and you have a farm and the farm keeps going on your screen, on the other side of your screen while you're doing your work or watching a video or playing a game, right? So it's always going, but you it has that really intense kind of like grinding curve where you have to like,
Mm.
okay, I need to put this amount of plots here and plant this amount of this, and then you just watch your dude do it, right? But then eventually you unlock robots that'll
Do that
water
stuff
for you,
Yeah.
that'll like pick up the vegetables for you, that'll put them in the little there's a receptacle that like turns it into like gems, and you have to put 3 different types of veggies in there to turn it into gems, and that's
Oh,
another
I love
currency on
Mhm.
top of your gold, right? So you eventually are like, okay, I need to unlock more land, so you keep spreading the land out further and further, so your whole screen starts getting like a bigger strip of
Oh,
land.
cool.
And you're just like, yeah, you're just like, okay. But the cool thing is, right, it's once you put something down, it's there. You can move it. It's going to cost you. But if you want to get rid of it, it's also going to cost you too.
Mhm.
So like it kind of incentivizes you to plan out your farm, where the drop points are for certain plots of like produce, where the robots grab from certain points, where the water is, where all these things are. So you have to start being resource minded. And eventually it gets to a point where you can automate the whole thing, where it's like you have a robot friend that you can put a house down for, and you can tell him where to put like plant seeds, where to do this, where to like, oh, you have other guys helping him with like cows, so you can use their poop to put on your vegetables, make them grow faster and make more money, all these things. Really cool. So there's like a very simple kind of farming simulator Factorio kind of game, really
Mhm.
simple. And eventually it gets to a point where you complete that farm and you unlock another one with a different layout. Like there's one that has a river through it, so you have to think about, okay, this river is disrupting where these plots of land is. I need to figure out where to do this, like what size am I going to use, where are the robots going to go, where's are the boxes going to go, where are all the, so you have to think more deeply about it, right? And then you unlock another farm that's like a desert, and you have to be more mindful about water. Then you unlock another one that's even bigger, and it also expands up, so you have more up here and more down here. And so you keep unlocking different farms and different permutations that kind of challenge you. It has that same kind of like, it's just a really addictive game because you don't have to constantly keep your eyes on it, but it's like you'll plant all your seeds and your dudes will be going. Then out the corner of your eye, you'll see an empty plot. You're like, oh shit, I gotta go put some stuff down there. Hold on. It's like, and then you go back to doing whatever. You're like, oh shit, they just got rid of all my freaking pumpkins. I gotta put some more down. So it's like you have to keep in mind of what you put down to, because the amount that you make also unlocks more vegetables, and they give you more money, and they'll give you more dudes, more things, constantly kind of going up. But the real cool resource, really, I think, is using your screen and kind of managing that and being smart with it. And yeah, it's great. I have it open all the time. It's always open. I'm always
That's cool.
farming with my boys.
I didn't realize this is the same guy who did Haiku.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
He built. By the way, Mr. Morris Games built 8 games over the span of like 6-7 months as he was learning Unity, and put all of them onto like Steam and iOS. And it's actually kind of a fascinating story. Haiku was his 8th game. This is his 9th game, but yeah, it's pretty cool that he basically learned Unity, and over his Unity development time ended up creating a game like this. So
we won't
it's
hold
very
his,
good.
we won't hold his Unity preference against him.
Yeah. This looks pretty. This looks like the kind of thing that I definitely want to play. Like you said, the AFK type of stuff, I think, is really intriguing to me, dude.
I love grinding in video games. I love games within so much stuff. I gotta like plan weeks in advance of what I'm gonna grind and do, And this is like a perfect small little like bite-sized version of that grind that I like crave in games, So it's perfect. It's an almost perfect game, I would say, personally. It's also really cheap.
I'm literally gonna buy this and put it below Stardew Valley.
Nice.
I can't help myself.
What a combo.
It's like $7, I think, which is like a steal.
Perfect.
It has a lot of content in it for that price.
Dope.
So
That's
yeah.
dope. Cool. Let's move on to one other game that you've been playing that maybe it's definitely not a similar game. You've also been playing Crow Country.
Yeah. Yo, this game is crazy good, you guys.
Oh,
this game is so sick, man.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, like I was having issues kind of like figuring out ways to like describe it. There's this article I read that kind of like put it in the sense of like whenever you think about an amazing game you played when you were younger, and then like you think of that feeling of that game, and then eventually you go back and play it and you're like, oh, this isn't as good as I thought it was, right? But this is like you go back to play that game you played as a kid and it's just the best thing ever. It's like they're able to capture the perfect essence of this time period and how these games feel, but not be like beholden to any of the technical limitations of that time. So it feels modern. There's a lot of like really cool modern choices, like being able to move the camera 3D around the area is just like really cool, because in those old games you wouldn't be able to. You could be stuck
pre-rendered backgrounds back in those days.
This kind of looks like it has pre-rendered backgrounds, but it's
not. No. So that simple fact of the way you can move the camera around is just really, it makes it feel like a new thing, even though it's not. But the other thing I think is actually really like a big plus to it is it's not necessarily too difficult. It's not really like, it has like really fun puzzles in it that are hard, but it doesn't ever feel unnecessarily hard like older games in this kind of genre can feel. It's very like, it's easy to play. It knows what it is, and it's just kind of like, if you know what these games are, you're going to have a good time. But if you're new to it, you can come into it and have just as good of a time, because it's not necessarily going to be like, oh, well, this is how it used to be type of thing. There's also an exploration mode where you can just play without any bad guys and stuff, which is cool. But yeah, it's definitely a game that's worth checking out 100%, even if you're not a fan of horror games. It's just really a fun time. It's like 6 hours.
Tell me about the combat. Like, are you aiming or?
Yeah, so what's really cool is the combat with the gun. You're aiming, so you can aim for limbs and stuff.
Okay.
You unlock a bunch of different guns and things throughout. If you do secret puzzles, you unlock more guns. If you don't do secret puzzles, you just have the pistol, which is fine. You're not going to be screwed over because you don't have a certain gun, so it's really just designed around the player kind of pushing what experience that they want to have, which I think is really cool. It's what I also think is a big thing for the game too, is the story is really good. It's a really modern story, and is very, very something that's very prominent in kind of the ether right now for the world. And I feel like a lot of these old survival horror games kind of like touch on those kind of things, but they never outright say it. There's like, oh, it's Wesker, he's this evil billionaire guy, ooh, he's so kooky, right? This just kind of like tells it like it is, and has a very, very good story because of that. It's very straightforward, but also like, yeah, I think it's super good. 100%. I love it. If you think it looks cool, you're like, hey, I want to play this game, play it. You're going to love it. Like, that's just kind of it. But I think the story is the most important thing this game has. It's a crazy good. Like, and it tells it through these like fun little newspaper clippings and everything. And even if you miss some of them, the game pulls it together at the end and kind of explains certain things to you. And does a really amazing job of kind of just pulling everything together and just sticks it. It's great. It's awesome. I can't praise it more, because it's just like, it's really good.
Excellent.
Definitely my favorite game of the year so far.
Wow.
So
all right,
that's just kind of where that one sits. But yeah, I beat it in one night. I just kind of.
Wow, cool.
I mean, it's only
was it one of those things where it was
hours?
like, I just want to finish it, or was it like I can't put it down, or like what was it?
It was a lot of that. It's like I feel like if I go to sleep, I'm gonna forget these puzzles, because you're juggling a lot of puzzles at once in these types of games. You're going back and forth, using this to unlock this, to use on this, to go use on that, to go over here, and you're just juggling so much. And I was like, I don't want to forget this, but I also I just want to see what happens. I just want to see what area opens up. And I didn't even explain the story. So essentially, there's an amusement park that got shut down for whatever reason, and you're an investigative journalist going to this abandoned amusement park. Things happen, spooky stuff, and you're kind of going into you're going into an amusement park. And you're basically navigating it through employee tunnels and these fun little back rooms and all these cool things. So you get to see the park as the customer sees it, and then you get to go in the background and see how the workers would see it and make things go and move around. So it's really cute. It's really fun and cute, and it's also scary. But it's just a really amazingly put together and designed video game. So
excellent. Very
yeah.
cool. All right. Well, very cool. Crow Country. Awesome. Let's slide into the DMs of one Johnny Wags, Mr. Be Gentle, I'm Stupid. Definitely follow that comic. You've had some bangers. I want to hear about some of the games you've been playing. Let's actually continue this horror freaky trend and talk about one of the games that you've been playing, Homebody.
Homebody.
That game looks cool.
It is cool. I really like this game. It is, I guess you could call it, I don't know, a survival horror in such a way that let me start over. This game, as a gameplay perspective, you're going around this mansion and you're solving puzzles and you're trying to basically get out of this mansion because it turns out you've been locked in. There's a time mechanic to this game. Every night at, I believe, 9:00, a monster shows up and he's going to kill you. And if he doesn't kill you, then you just die anyway. But you can see him in the trailer there. He's extremely scary. The sound of this monster is very upsetting. He sounds like he's not having a good time. But this was made by the Game Grumps Publishing type of deal. It stars, it doesn't star anybody, but the protagonist is a young woman who has agoraphobia, essentially. She starts the game out with she's in her car and she's panicking, and she's trying to get to her friend's Airbnb, essentially, which is the mansion that the game takes place in. And she's freaking out, and she's getting hyped up by her friend just to you gotta go. They want to see you. There's nothing's gonna happen. Blah blah blah. And stuff does happen, unfortunately. But yeah, every time you get killed by this dude, the game starts over. So this is a time loop game. And I didn't actually know this going in, but it's a very it's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. Yeah, you basically go around, solve these puzzles, try and get out of the house, and you actually can get out of the house pretty early on. But it actually doesn't work. But there's lots of cool themes in it. There's lots of things about friendships and anxiety and what it means to be a good friend, what it means to be, what it means to have, to be a homebody where you're too scared to go out, you're too anxious to see your friends, and that sort of spirals because if you're too anxious to go out, then you don't see your friends, and then now you're thinking that your friends hate you, and some of them actually do actually resent you for not being in touch for a long time, and yeah, so Homebody it's very good, and also the puzzles are great. I really like the puzzles. Every time the game resets as well, there's usually like a cutscene or there's like something helpful happening. Like you'll get like a hint about something. So if you don't make any sort of progress with the story or the puzzles or something, you'll get a little hint in the middle. But yeah, you get like exposition and stuff in between runs, and yeah, I really like it. The only downside I have for this game is that the controls, it's a fixed camera third person type of thing with tank controls if you're using
okay.
But if you use
the
mouse,
controls.
yeah, if you use the mouse, you can just point and click and they'll go to where you want them to go. But yeah, there's lots of spooks and scares in there, lots of different things that change every run or every loop that gave me the willies. Let me just say that.
It has a little bit of that sort of, I don't want to say retro, but it felt like a little bit of nostalgic feel to that. I was just watching the video and listening to your description.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The story is definitely like I would say it's very modern.
Okay.
You know, it's about mental illness essentially. Yeah, I don't really want to get into like how what the
spoilers and stuff. Sure.
But yeah, you have to figure out what's going on, and there's lots of exposition like around the house and through notes and books and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
You've been playing another game, a very different kind of game.
What did I say I was playing?
Predecessor.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm one of those guys that likes MOBAs, not particularly Dota or League of Legends, but I was a big Heroes of the Storm pervert back in the day.
Yeah. You want anything else you want to add to
What's
it?
your favorite character? Do you have a favorite character?
In Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah.
I'm gonna judge you based on this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to play Malfurion a lot. I'm mainly like a support character guy.
I thought you were gonna say like Alex. What's her name? Alex Straza. I was like, okay, you pervert.
Dragon ass. Yeah. So Predecessor is a MOBA. It's a third-person shooter MOBA that was based off of. Yeah, look at this. It says Become Paragon. It was the game by Epic. Was it Epic that did this?
Yeah,
Epic.
Yes.
Made this game Paragon, and then they sort of beefed it. And
I thought this one was already dead too.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought.
I thought this was already. I thought they already were like, this is gonna. We killed this. Are you sure?
No,
I thought this already came and went.
So that's what I've been playing. I think it's good. I think it's an interesting.
No, the latest patch came out. The latest early access patch came out at the end of April.
Yeah, they're still adding characters.
2 months ago, it's dead. No, I'm just kidding.
It's free to play, so I mean, just download it. It's fun. If you don't like shooting things, you can be a melee character and smash things, and yeah, it feels great.
Cool. All right.
I don't know if I have anything.
It's been out since 2022.
MOBA, so I mean,
is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, December 2022 is when it came out.
Still an EA, baby.
Listen, we're gonna be honest. It's not coming out.
It's
never gonna leave. I don't think.
We can buy those assets eventually.
Yeah, give it a download if you feel like spicing things up with your MOBA games.
How many gigabytes is it?
How many gigabytes?
Yeah, let me check. Oh, it's only 7.9.
It's itty bitty.
That's a small early access game. Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else, Johnny, that you've been, or is that
I've been playing Cookie Cutter. That's a good game.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. JJ already went over this a while ago, but Cookie Cutter, beautifully animated. It's pretty edgy if you don't like that kind of crap, but it's edgy in such a way that like, oh, you have like a talking vagina robot, and but it's also just like it's to me it's like so over the top that like it sort of circles around back to being good again, as far as like the edginess goes. Like there's like, for me, the spectrum is like what's that? There's like a Xbox 360 game, Darksiders.
Yeah, classic.
That's like the spectrum of the edge.
That game rips.
Yeah, it's like
what did you say, Tom?
What's that?
I said that game fucking rips. It's so cool.
I hated it.
That first one is just a Zelda game.
You're so wrong, Johnny.
It's like they made a Zelda. They made a Zelda, but they used the design from like. Yeah, it feels like Zelda, but all the designs were from like the binder scrawlings of like a fantasy obsessed metalhead.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the sequels, Johnny? Perhaps the ones that aren't as good.
I'm thinking of Darksiders because when I started playing it, I was just like, this is taking itself. As far as like the theme goes, the gameplay was great in Darksiders. I like the gameplay, but like, you know, the keys are knives, and you have to like stick them in eyeballs to open the door. And it's like,
and it plays it straight, and that's what makes it funny.
I think that you're taking it, leaning into its motif as like taking itself too seriously.
It is.
I don't
Although
think
I haven't played it in like 15, I don't know, 12 years or whatever.
It's time to circle back, buddy.
A lot
of things have changed.
All I know is it's one of Stefan's favorite games, so it could be good or really bad.
Yeah, but Stefan's only like 17, so what does he know about games?
Weren't they going to make 4 of those things?
They made 3.
They made 3, but there was always the plan to make 4, right?
Yeah, for the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
That's what I thought.
Genesis is really cool.
Yeah, Darksiders Genesis. Yeah.
Listen, one day we'll get the next 2 games in the trilogy of 2 Human, and then we'll really understand gaming.
Speaking of understanding gaming, I want to understand Tom's gaming. It's been a while since you've been on, Tom. What are you playing?
So there's this really cool game I'm playing called Rusty's Retirement.
Just happened to purchase during this episode.
I've been playing for the
currently running
40 minutes
on the bottom third of my screen.
That game's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's so good. I'm just like working. I see him like doing his little stuff down the bottom. It's great.
Yeah, it's gotta be amazing over like Photoshop, right?
Yeah. You can have it set to always on top, so the little house just clips over anything you got on the bottom. It's great.
Love it.
I'm playing. I bought that Hades 2.
Oh, okay, tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm the amount of mental fortitude that I'm trying to force upon myself to not purchase Hades 2 is quite honestly one of the highest orders of recent memory for me.
It's guess what? It's more Hades.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want it so bad.
It's exactly why it's so good. It runs perfectly on a Steam Deck.
I don't think I have the strength. I'm going to be honest.
It's all I wanted was more of that, and they gave me so much more of that.
And my thing is that like I think about what they did with Hades 1, and I think that Hades 2 is going to be quicker a pace to leave early access.
God, I hope so.
It feels very because I didn't hop on 1 until almost like it was almost out. I hopped on when it was like the big like, but it started to hit close to 1.0 and everyone jumped on it. But Hades 2, like that feels like really close. Like it. Sure, there are things that like it's. Like little things that you can tell need to be ironed out, or like, oh, it'll crash every now and then. Like when I'm playing it for a really long time, or I do the thing where I just keep suspending and resuming it for like 2 days. Then every now and again it'll just crash, right? But because it's got all that old stuff in memory. But it runs really good. It's really polished. It starts off with all like the story stuff. Like you hit that thing and it like brings. It's not like, oh, we're putting the gameplay sections out there and then we stripped out the story stuff and we'll add that in a later update. Like all that stuff is there. So I'm not very deep in it because I'm bad at those games, but I love them anyway. But it's been a lot of fun so far. Trying to think what else I put. I put a lot of Fallout 4. That game still starts really bad.
Everybody's back.
That game has such a slow start.
Yeah, it does.
That's just
every
bad.
Bethesda game does.
That game sucks because it gives you power armor right away.
Right away, and they're everywhere. I don't even need to like hit the tilde and type in like players set at me. Give me power armor. No, it's just there. Like I'll just be walking along the street. I'll be walking through. There'll be like a truck on the side of the road, and there's a cage at the back. There's power armor. I'll go into a house. There's power armor. It requires no training. Like you don't have to do the training.
Yep.
It's just
no
like
New
the TV
Vegas.
series. Yeah.
I didn't have the energy to sit there for 4 hours installing 150 mods for Fallout New Vegas.
That's a part of the experience.
Yeah. Well, if the rumors are true, we're going to be getting the Fallout 3 remake announced in at the showcase, right? That's supposedly.
Oh, Zach thinks
TU.
Sweet. I may hop into Fallout 4. I may hop into Fallout 4 again. I haven't.
Hey, guess what? Preston Garvey's still there. There's still settlements that need our help.
There's still settlements. You know where there's not settlements, and that's in the Phil's Fallout 76 town, which got nuked. Hilarious.
I booted that up.
I tried Fallout 76. I tried it recently. It's not that bad.
No, it's another one of those games that
It's decent.
That time was good to develop.
Does anyone need a power armor edition? I found one of those in my storage space this weekend. Untouched.
Amazing.
I opened it up to take. I'm like, what's even in here? I didn't realize there's a helmet in there. They're like little army men. They're like cloth maps.
Sweet.
There's like all stuff, a whole bunch of stuff in there. I literally opened it, pulled the code out, and then threw the case back in the box, and then threw it in storage.
It's free over at I think Amazon Games or Amazon Twitch, whatever free.
And probably.
By the way, is that a Hartford Whaler hat that you have on there?
Yeah, I know it's actually really troublesome. I love the logo, but we are in a really troubling time because they were the former, what now known as the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah,
which this is a Rangers house.
Yeah.
So I can't wear it out of the house, but it's a Hartford Whalers Carhartt hat in collaboration with 47. So it's just a really cool hat. And it's like one of my go-tos. And then like I was watching the game in Carolina, and like they cut to the crowd, and they're doing Whalers jerseys. I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't wear this thing in public.
You're like, yeah. Amazing.
I wore it the other day by accident. And they fucking lost, so now I gotta not wear it on game days.
We had the I work across the street from their former minor league affiliate, the Plymouth Whalers. So they had the same logo. They changed their name to like Plymouth Red Wings or a bunch because they kept selling the team moving around. But it was the Plymouth.
Oh, that's
so that was badass. Cool. And Taylor, what have you been playing? Oh, of course, Rusty's Retirement is what you're playing right now for $7.
No, I didn't install that yet.
You bought it. You bought it.
No, it's
only 64 megabytes, Taylor. It's small.
Listen, don't worry.
Excuse you, it's 69.9.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No, that'll get picked up. Don't worry. Don't fret.
And I think it costs $6.99 as well.
It does cost $6.99. God, this man's a genius. No, I mean I've just been. It's just been Stardew, man. It's still Stardew. Like I can get through an average day of Stardew Valley in like 30 minutes or less, and it's one of the few games that fits the schedule. So
what kind of farm you running?
The one that makes money, Johnny.
So you've got like diamond stuff and like the star fruit and ancient fruits all over the place.
Yeah, greenhouse of course is ancient fruit stacked to the max. The cellar is full. We got.
Are you raw dogging it?
What do you mean?
Did you mod it? Did you?
No. Right now, it's just we're in raw.
Mine's modded the fuck out, dude.
I know.
I mean, Grandpa's farm, man. You need that starter extended mod. You need to have like 3 new land masses on that thing. You need a tractor to go from one end to the other.
No, dude. I have an automatic like mod
Zach is
thing.
on a mission to turn Stardew Valley
Turn
as
into
much
Factorio.
into Factorio. Yeah, he's turning
Yeah,
into
no,
Factorio as
no,
much as
so-
possible, unironically.
So there's this mod that'll automate all crafting. You put like a chest as an input, then you put like whatever you're using as the output. So I have like, okay, this chest is for eggs and this goes to the mayo. This chest is for coal and that goes to the burners. And like it'll just run it all day as I'm running around. I'm like,
did you know? Did you see that they kind of added similar? Like they added.
Don't care.
Don't care.
They actually added some of those types of items into the game.
Yeah, I saw they added a phone, which was cool, where you can like call up places and be like, "Hey, you open?" They're
Yeah,
like,
I've gotten a scam JoJo call before where they were trying to steal my banking information.
You know, I got one from a little kid, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey." He's like, "Bye." I'm like, okay.
I also received a phone call from a bear. It happens.
Mhm.
That
Well,
happens. It's
yeah.
very normal.
He was
saw
enjoying
him.
the honey. But yeah, no, Stardew's still goated. It's kind of unbelievable. I
What
never
is it, 7 or 8 years?
God,
I
it's gotta
think.
be.
8 years.
2016, I think.
2016.
8 years. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, we're never getting that fucking chocolatier game. It's not happening. He can't
Good.
quit.
I don't want it. You know how
I
long it's
kinda
going to take
do.
for mods to make it? You know how long it's going to take for people to turn that into Factorio? We could do that here.
I don't
Yeah,
want Factorio, man. I own Factorio.
I want Factorio with ghosts and chocolate now.
They pushed out this new update for that game, like Tektronica or whatever it's called, that makes it more into Factorio. That makes it more into Factorio, and then I'm like, oh, another one. Let's go. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I had never played Stardew with like the fucking Tropical Island and shit like that. I hadn't played any of those.
I never got
updates,
there.
So
It's nuts, dude.
It's so good. It's crazy. It's
I don't
crazy.
even know what that is. Tropical
Yeah.
Island?
Yeah,
It's a whole
they
new
had an island.
land.
Finish.
Wow.
How about you finish the fucking community center and get?
I don't think so.
I don't think I will.
There's
All right.
also a
Fishing's the hardest
spaceship.
part.
There's a spaceship you can go on to and like see your grandpa and like go in outer space and stuff.
All right, listen, that's the mod talk, and I'm not here for it. But yeah, no, that's all I got. I ain't got nothing.
I
We
will
talked
say-
a few rounds of Balatro here and there, of course.
You gotta
know.
do Balatro. This is great, by the way, Tom. You just posted the
The screenshot.
screenshot. There you are playing in your ultra wide screen. Very nice.
Oh, super.
Yeah, I didn't know that if you click the little gear over and over, it just spits out one
Yup,
coin.
that's a-
So I
that's
was
a
doing
little-
that.
That's a little
Turns
Easter
into a
egg. I
clicker.
didn't want to spoil. But
Ah.
get some extra
Little
money.
cookie clicker action.
Uh-huh.
Guess what? Guess what? I just bought it.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Dolly, it runs on Mac. I can just have it running my
even
whole
better.
workday.
Sweet. Oh, that'll be perfect. I can take my Mac with me and just take it to the office and just pretend I'm working on the Mac off to the side. Very cool.
You literally
Very
can't interact with the game enough for it to like take too much of your time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can at the beginning. You can at the beginning.
Yeah.
Dope. Well,
He
dude,
needs a little hand holding at first, and then Rusty's going.
and then he's going. I've been playing a review game, which I can't talk about this week.
Is it GTA 6? Damn, I didn't know that was out there
GTA
already.
6 and his Mario Odyssey.
Elder
2,
Scrolls
and it's
6.
Elder Scrolls. But I can talk about what I've been eating. And I have been eating
Oh, I had a whole podcast about
Doritos.
this. What are you eating?
Fiery mango Doritos.
That was you that
Fiery
posted
mango
that? I thought that
Baja
was somebody else.
It's
They
pretty
both
good.
did.
These are pretty
Oh,
good.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you have the black ones? The black bag? Because Doritos go based on color, like Gatorade.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's a black one. I think they're like I think they're like a tiny sweet barbecue.
You got the blue bag?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you a blue
Like, obviously
Dorito
blue
or red
Doritos are,
Dorito
like,
kind of guy.
I'm a purple Dorito guy.
Purple
Doritos are my
Doritos
favorites.
good.
Purple Doritos.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We can only have like 5 or 6 chips because the heat hits like at a very specific amount, and you don't want to keep cramming chips in your mouth. These aren't like nacho cheese Doritos. These
Wrong.
are
I do want to keep cramming the chips in my mouth.
Where's
Well,
the heat
these are-
hitting? Where's it hitting? in
Dolly,
your
you're
mouth?
just not doing it right. You need to go. You're in Michigan. You need to go down to the dispo. All
yeah,
right?
that's true. Okay, good
You
point.
need to get yourself the fucking joints, and you need to just like have those Doritos. You know?
Love it. Love it.
What section of the mouth is it hitting in? Is it hitting like far in the back or?
It is far in the back. Yeah, it is far in the back.
Your back
Really.
wall stop.
Johnny, it's hitting far in the back of my mouth.
Uh-huh.
Back, it's hitting my throat.
Mhm.
It's hitting my throat.
Yeah.
Just deep
All
back
right.
there.
Back
Just like,
discussion.
Yeah.
I just sit back there. I'm gonna stop before I throw up if I stick my hand in my mouth. Dudes, it has been a lot of fun.
Wait, I
this
have one more
evening.
thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just have a small little preview of some merch that I'm gonna drop here.
Ooh.
The way you use the Steam Deck is fascinating.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
When
Wait,
I
hold
walked
on,
into
hold
the
on.
media room at PAX,
Do it again. Do it again.
This is my main
Oh.
PC. So. Yeah, so I'm doing. This is gonna be a T-shirt,
Vagino.
stickers.
What software is that? Krita that you use?
Yeah, Krita. Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
that's sick.
Thank you. So yeah, I also have a shirt that says mycelium on it that my wife got me for my birthday.
Nice.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is really cool. Oh, by the way, speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, JJ. Today
Happy
is
birthday, JJ.
Happy birthday, JJ.
He's not. He doesn't care. He's not paying attention at all. The jerk. But
That's okay. I told him.
Yeah. I mentioned it too. But yeah, I mentioned it by sending him a bunch of more review codes to get to work on. Happy birthday, JJ. Here's 3 more codes. With that, we're gonna close up for today. It's been a lot of fun chatting with my boys. With my fam right here. You guys you guys always bring a smile to my face, even when I'm about to stand up in a second, fall over, and faint. But other than that, Johnny, thank you very
You
much.
guys weren't here for that conversation, by the way. Dolly was talking
No.
about how he's been standing up and almost falling over.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
Dolly's
It's
been
nice.
having strokes. So
There's something going on.
Zach, thank you as usual, my friend.
Yup.
Hopping in. Taylor, thank you very much, buddy.
Sorry I was late.
It's all right. Tom,
Wowie.
Tom, thank you from Hartford and all the Hartford fans
Fuck
that are
you.
supporting the. Hey, I got stuck with my Red Wings almost making it, but not again. And I'm Dolly. You can find us SideQuesting.com. As I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I'm learning now to mention at the very beginning. SideQuesting.com. Hop into the SideQuesting Discord, and then also please, if you've made it this far, why? Number 1. Number 2. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff because it does help. Yeah. With that, we'll see you on the next episode of The Side Quest. Goodbye, friends. We love you. Toodles.